Hello and welcome back to Satisfactory. So what I have for you today is what I call 6 easy pieces. And I went into the Factorio planner to make a nice picture of it because the text checklist is going to be, it's a whole bunch of little spiny things. So we got basically a blender, an assembler, and 4 manufacturers. And each one of them has an active output and a couple of passive inputs. So this is going to be a whole bunch of drone ports and a few little things. I am going to just put a stake in the ground right now and say that this installation is temporary, because I don't know if we will need these parts in quantity or even at all once we have opened up the next phase. Now, some of them are kind of obvious. We probably should be automating some of these at scale. Okay, but frankly, we still have a long way to go before we are ready to get our phase 4 stuff done. And these 6 items kind of fell out the bottom as here's 6 we can do that feed into the rest of it. And the rest of once we have these 6 items, I could move forward with each of the 4 items that we want to deliver up there in the upper right. Anyway, as I was pushing things around in the planner, I came on this way of diagramming it that kind of lays it out. Hold on, let me get my mouse back under control here. There we go. Now I am pointed at the right thing. So I had 6 things that I was building, and I thought, well, what if I lay them out in a hexagon? And some of them move to the next one. And I tried to make it so that it was just, everybody that had the same inputs was next to each other, and everybody that talked to each other was next to each other, and that was great. And I realized that it wouldn't actually be a bad idea, for instance, with this rubber, to have a separate drone station for these 2. So we really don't have to lay them out in this order, but what I really do want to do is make sure that the crystal oscillator manufacturer can belt its stuff to radio control systems and rigger motors and plastic AI limiters. And the rigger motors can then belt to the cooling devices. So either we just do this in 2 rows of 3, okay? So moving these corners in. This is actually just a PNG of the planner. I didn't want to leave this in the planner because if you leave the website and come back, it lays it back out the way it wants to, not the way you did it. I got it laid out and I captured it. So we can either put this as a long area here, like we did with the aluminum, and we put boom, 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 left and right. We just kind of have this guy wander its stuff around, or maybe we put it at the beginning and we run it up a vertical bus down the middle, which might not be a bad idea, actually. But the key thing is that some of these, like this guy right here, he potentially has 4 drone stations attached to him. His output and the inputs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the drone stuff directly above the manufacturers. I have to work out how to do that. They may end up going two of those poles up. So I'll put in a pole, and then I will put in the station on a pole, and I'll remove the lower blueprint. And then we'll have to do something to make it so they're not just hovering there. I keep coming back to the idea of putting something underneath things that are hovering to make it look like they've got like thrusters or something. That's kind of a later spruce it up, make it look good kind of a thing. But I'm thinking for the drone stuff, we're gonna have belts going up. So if I packed all of this on the 5x5 grid next to each other. It would mean that the drone stations are adjoining each other. And that could work. So either I put it 6 by 6 or I can put it in this kind of hexagonal layout. Now, it's not really going to be a hexagon because it won't be the length of all these lines are the same, but what it would be is here to here is a constant, and same thing here to here, and it would offset these by half. So if this distance here to here is 5 foundations, if I don't put anything in the middle, then here to here would be 5 foundations this way and 2.5 that way. I really don't like the idea of putting nothing in the middle. I think in this case, what I'm going to do, because we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on, is it'll be a 5 by 5, and then 3 foundations, and then a 5 by 5. And then 3 foundations down this way, and this 5 by 5 offset to the left. Some amount that looks decent. Here to here is going to be 8. So if we offset it by 4, okay, that would work. It does mean we have crystal oscillators flowing across the middle, which is not a bad thing. So aside from the crystal oscillators, everything goes from guy to guy. The other thing I could do would be to put these inwards so these two are next to each other, splay these out. Well, we still have plastic up here. So this almost looks like it would fit a hexagonal grid. These two items would end up on the same point. Well, if we move him out there, yeah, okay, we could do this. We'll just have to maneuver these guys around. So what I need to start with is start from the center. I need to set up these 6 drone ports, and we'll put them close to each other. Probably touching would be a good idea, so it'll look like 6 of them up there. And then I'll set up these guys so that they're so this comes up just outside of him. Let's see how that works. Let me take the editor off the screen. So we're going to start with the output drone ports. And where do I want to put it? Well, these guys are going to have to be fairly high. I'm up here at the top of the waterfall on top of a radar tower and looking out at the world. We can see everything we've placed practically. Well, some of it we can't, but most of it we can. Wow. Dude, I can see the whole base from here. So my eye keeps getting drawn to that little thingy over there. And I'm thinking that this hexagonal thing, it's gonna have the outputs up high and the next ring is down lower. But we're gonna go significantly lower so that we can have a ring of outputs and then a ring of inputs that goes around that at a lower level, and then at an even lower level we have our stuff. So we need to go from the top here, we need to go up a little bit and have the level on which we're putting our manufacturing, and then up to have the level of the inputs, and then up further to have the level of the outputs. There we go. So that's what we're going to do. Let's see. Do I have power heading out there? Well, I've got power kind of squirreling around. I do have power at the location. There's my sorting area. Oh, I filled in some Nobelisks, so I went out and grabbed some resources and made some more Nobelisks. So we have more Nobelisk in our depot. I also set up the first container here so that I could dump stuff in there and it would grab the Nobelisk, just for shits and giggles. I do want to start making use of that sorter at some point, although at this point I'm just taking all the stuff from my inventory and dumping it in the depot and the sink. I think the problem was that there was something I had that I would dump into it that I couldn't set a filter for. And if you can't set a filter for it, it kind of goes the default path. And if you don't sync the default path, you have to explicitly sync everything. Anyway, we're headed out to this guy. This is going to be kind of a bigger structure. And again, if I was one of those people that was more aesthetically minded and aesthetically capable, that I would set up some aesthetics. And he has a crash site. I am betting that I have already pulled the disk drive out of the crash site. So the first thing I'm going to want to start doing is laying out some of these support pillars. And okay, that's kind of big. So we're going to have to start with a foundation on grid. Oh, you can actually overlay that guy. I'll put it here. So that's where we're starting. So blueprints, support pillar. I need to get power to this guy. Yep, I did pull him. So we're going to bring it in here. Okay. And now we can use our hover pack. So the lowest level of the structure is going to fan out in all directions for our construction work. This does have the downside that I can't put anything directly on top of that pillar. And if I erase any of that, I can't erase the whole thing as a... Oh, wait a minute, what if... Okay, I can sort of put a foundation in there. It clips it to the wrong place, but I can H it. And that's actually, if I'm going to put a power floor down, the power floor's got a thingy in the middle. So really my problem is these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this whole thing using the drone stand because it already has everything set up above. And I'll use the clipped corners. I will make the clipped corners into something purposeful. There we go. I probably ought to do a variation of this that has a normal powered floor on it. So that gets power up to those nubs. So this is the floor on which we're going to be doing the manufacturing. I want to put this on a hot button. We go up one. Just need to route power really quick. You go there and there. Did that get clipped on? Yes, it did. So manufacturing floor. This will be the floor where we have the big ring on the outside of the input drones. And I'm going to count really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, 14. Yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, they're going to be way out there. So they will be outboard from the manufacturing floor. And then up above, I need to place the 6 output rings. Okay. I'm placing these all very carefully as single blueprints with no adjustments other than adding the power. So we get up to here, and this is the center, and I want to put 6 passive drone ports around it. So they will need base plate minus corners. I'm going to start with north. And he wants to go down there. Oh, that's no good. I could put, yeah, I will offset it upwards a little bit. I'm going to put that guy there. And we'll do north and south from him. And east and west, we're going to have to put pairs. So this really, I need to start from here, but I need to offset it significantly. I need to offset it to the, this is going to be a little hard. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is set up this outer ring to be normal foundations. Oh, let's do it at the right level then. I don't need to be fiddling around with that. So inverted up corners. This whole thing, this whole circle is going to become the kinds of foundations that I can clip my blueprint to. So 4 meter, like that. I will have to manually get rid of all this, and we still have this this problem with the highlighting of items that have already been deleted. That disappoints me that that's happening. Base plate with corners, or without corners. See, now I can place it properly at the right level, and I can run it around. We're going to go directly north, and oh, wait a minute. If I want to make it look like my diagram here, I want to go directly east and west. Oh, and now I need to make these two be on the corner here, so they just kind of join at the midpoint. This highlighting is really driving me nuts. And the same thing over here. That looks about right. And now I can go to blueprint mode to put in the last two, because they're just next to these two. And I want this middle area to be empty except for the pylon coming up at the middle. I will put some structure in here. There. So we've got our 6. We have some structure. I will... how do I want to do that? I'd really like this structure to merge in nicely. This guy in the middle, I do want to have a 4 meter. So I bring that down to 2 meters. Yeah, I'm going to work out how to do this. Go to default. I'm going to put a 2 meter in here and here. We'll put some slopes underneath. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of aesthetic work because I'm not really all that good at it. But in cases like this where it's kind of obvious what I want to do, oops, that's corner, so inverted ramp, 2 meter. There we go. And now we go back to here. And I'm going to put in just the support pillar in the middle. Just like that. And I also want to put in just the support pillar in this middle layer once I get my blueprints out that way. So these 6 nubbies here are going to be heading downward. And they need to tap into something that is nearby the manufacturing areas. Let's get the power going, though. Try that again. You go there. You go there. There. Power comes up to here, and we can spread the power out to these guys. I will make it look like we're moving a lot of power here. Now, looking at the bottom of this, I thought, oh, right, I didn't use the drone thing. I just used the 5x5 with the corners trimmed, so I have all the extra power nubs. Well, that's okay. We got all the power going into those guys. So if I go out here a little ways to the west and up a bit, I should be able to get a decent view. That looks decent. And facing north is the way that's going to match my diagram. Okay, so somebody doesn't have power. Well, goodness, look what I forgot to do. I will hook it up both ways. Having multiple paths for the power means that if I delete one of these plates and put it back down, everything still has power. So I can delete it, put it back down, reconnect it up to the redundancy, and then go on and delete the next one. So that's decent, and it does provide a central support. These guys will have supports on them. I'm going to need to work out where they are. Well, the next layer down, I need to put my 6 further away from the center pole so that they can have multiple drone ports outside. In fact, this layer is where those multiple drone ports are going to go, which means these guys are going to have multiple support poles. So come down to here. Actually, before I do, let's zoop this guy all the way down so we have a feel for where this ends up. Way up the top there, you clip onto there. I'm going to go vertical. I'm going to bring all 6 down. My plan is for these to actually use the blueprinted support pillar. And that went in the wrong place. I thought that felt wrong. So this is the level where we're going to have the active drone ports ringing us around the side. So 2 active drone ports per assembler gets us 12. Looking at my diagram really quick, I think I can set this up for 2 per with a little bit of jiggery pokery. And we're just going to take these down. I will trim them as I start moving things around. So I'm going to call these the delivery pillars because our outputs are going to go up the delivery pillars. And when I start moving these around, I'm going to want to put my manufacturing floor outboard of that delivery pillar. So if I put a base plate minus corners here, well, first of all, it's at the wrong level. So I think what I'm going to do is start from here. So we're identifying the level where we want our output. I'm going to just do this with normal 4-meter foundations. And now we can get rid of this. We know we're going up here, so our output comes to here. This is a normal concrete slab with power. Just like that. I don't need to pick these up. I need to just change the material to the fix-it foundation. Like that. So, for the pillars going up to that, whoops, I went one too far. We need to repair this guy. Now, I could repair him by deleting the blueprint and putting it back in. What I'm going to do is just put the foundation back. It means if I delete the foundation, he'll end up with that support pillar still there. I think what I'm going to do is rebuild this guy so he doesn't have a... That doesn't look like it's doing it in the right place. Here? Yes. Grab the big concrete pillar and we zoop it into place. And what I am noticing is that I forgot that the support pillars actually have some structure to them. So I'm going to try this again. So if I put the support pillar in, trim the top, put the support pillar in again, I should be able to get it exact. Yeah. If I use the drone stand, it's going to do the wrong thing. So my distance up there is actually a little bit over 2 pillars. So let's start with the drone stand. If I put another drone stand on top of it, it should match up with that one automatically exactly. So yeah, let's get rid of that. So, did this match up properly? It did. And I'm not going to worry about the corner cutouts not matching here. That's contrast, that's okay. The alternative is I would space these out one further so that this would be, well, I'd have to go out 0.5 meter further. Or 1 meter further and separate these. I want these all to join, so we're going to just live with that. We need to get rid of this plate, and I'm going to do this manually because I want to keep the rest of the structure here. And do I want this big glob? I don't want this big glob. What we're going to do is I'm going to join this center pole with that center pole. Going to remove these extra nubbins. Oh, come on. G, mark you guys. G and mark you guys. So the power connects bottom to top. We'll put the pillar back in. And there is our delivery pillar. And it strikes me that we might want to move our manufacturing floor one further away so that we can actually snake our outputs up there, huh? Okay, what I just did do that. I wonder if you mark enough things, if there's a limit to the number of things it highlights. Yeah, okay, that almost did it. I think I'm going to do one more row. That gives us enough space to maneuver some things around, put in some splitters, and get the output coming up in the middle of this guy. So 1, 2, 3, we need to go a little bit more here. And that's one too long. So, 2 border around these guys, 2 border around these guys. And I'm guessing that that will be big enough that when we start putting out the other ones and putting a similar border around them, the borders will overlap, so we'll have a nice blue plate around our building areas. Slab with power. Drops in there. Mark a whole bunch of things and hope that we can get our thingy to go away. There. So that's how you get rid of the highlighting, I guess, is you just delete sweep across a bunch of things. Let's get power out to that guy. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sweep this guy across at the 2 level like that. Now for sending power up, we'll bring it across to here and in. And if we're coming across the middle, maybe we don't want it on the side like that. There we go. That looks good. From here, we want to bring it in and get power to the main stuff. To here. And then to there, we're going to put a power nub on this line so that it all joins up nicely. I can already tell that this is going to be a long episode. So there's our first manufacturing floor, assuming I keep to the plan. Let's set the other one up symmetrically. I could just start by mirroring these right across. Start with the outside getting its 2. And this is going to go away. And in fact, we are going to redo that guy. And now that we know how to get rid of the highlighting, there. And the 2 meter back this way. We want 3. This guy is our base for our drone stand. We'll go 2 drone stands. And we get rid of the cruft that we don't want. Yeah, there's that, and we need 2 more. And then we need our thingy onto which we are going to be building our power. How about I run my power out there? Oh, joy. Let's make this look reasonable here. So from there to middle, and you are going to come out to here. Oops, wrong place. You are coming out to here to feed upward. And now I put this guy on. So this is the east platform. And now we surround it with all sorts of zooped foundations. Get 2 foundations wide in blue around this guy, and the 3 foundations this direction to meet up with him. There's east and west. And between east and west, we actually will be moving a belt that will have some motors on it. Pondering. I think I can just bring it through like here. That's not too bad. Yeah. I am not averse to a little bit of clipping. Okay, so now I need the platforms for these guys. I need them to be separated because we need to have, basically we're going to be doing 12 active input drone stations around at this level. Okay, so let's see how this shakes out. I want something that has the manufacturing floors offset by a couple of foundations from the base of the pillar. And I need it to be diagonal out that way. And it's basically 2 up and 1 over. Boom. Let's grab an actual foundation. 2 up, 1 over. 2 up, 1 over. 1 up and a half over. That's going to be interesting. Okay. 2 up and 1 over. So I'm thinking that this will be the corner of the big guy. So if we do that, I'm just doing this for positioning. That puts you there. Let's get his power going. For now, I'm just going to connect power corner to corner here. I just want power to work. And unless my frame is bigger than I thought, yeah, we do end up with a little bit of a gap there. I will work out how I want to best fill that in a moment. So we've got our 2x2 routing space, and here is where our thingy will go up. Come on, 50 of 50. There we go. Okay, let's make sure this slotted back into its adjoining position, and it did. Now, because I'm using the proper drone stands, it means I don't have connections from one to the other, which means I probably don't need this at all, now that I'm looking at it. Or this. I'm going to keep this bottom guy in until we're done putting stuff up. We may not even have the bottom guy. If I decide to bring the power up some other direction, we won't need him. If I did that, though, I would want to put in pillars from here down. We'll work it out. So we need to route power from you over to you. Let's peel these off. I'm going to route the power from here down to here. There's power, and we're going to hide it away inside the floor. And this guy, again, we need to readjust our pole. So that power is going up here. So now these upper drone areas, they will have power available here, but there's no power nubs on the bottom of the passives. Yeah, okay. Oh, I am betting this whole internal area gets paved over and turned into something. I don't know. Let's leave it open for the moment. So making this like this but mirrored over, the easy way is going to be to just bring that across. And these are the two we keep. So there's actually a 3 foundation gap between these guys. So because we are offsetting this, I could bring this in. Could bring it in 1.5 foundations, or just half a foundation. Yeah, let's bring it in half a foundation, so that the gap between these two looks like the gap between those two. Okay, so this whole thing now goes away again because we're moving the whole thing half a foundation. And that means that this guy is... Well, that leaves 2. We only want to leave 1. Okay. So that's where we want the gap. Oh, auto rotate, auto rotate. There we go. I pulled my own power plug. Oh! There we go. Let's also bring it down over here. I'm going to make it redundant. So this brings it in from the middle here somewhere. I need to work out a better connection for that. Still haven't decided what I'm going to do in the middle, so we'll just bear the power connection in mind when we do. So blueprint area, belt working area, gap. Belt working area, blueprint working area, belt working area, gap. There's the blueprint area for, this is actually the cooling devices, I believe. And I don't have power right now. Let's fix that. You're on that guy. Yeah, I want to get this pole put in so I can run the power the same way as I have it over there. And easiest for me if I just do it all like this to make sure everything's in the right place. Yes, we're in the right place. And a quick reminder, the way I am filtering this, you hit the G key and then anything else you control, swipe across, and you drag across with the control key down. If it matches the filter, it includes it in the delete. There's still a lot of rough edges on the user interface here, little awkward points. I'm not sure they're ever going to change it though. The confusion over whether I am middle picking a item or a blueprint, and the fact that you change the mode by going into the delete and changing the dismantle mode, that's awkward and it's not well explained. And if you know about changing the dismantle mode, you have to discover that that also changes how you pick things, and you have to realize that that connection is there. And that actually can take a little bit of thinking and intelligence to realize that. You can go for a long time being confused about, oh, why am I picking the entire thing? Or I was picking the entire thing before, now I'm back to 1. How do I get back? So with the 1 gap, I am thinking I can put in a 1x1 foundation down this 1 gap. And that doesn't look too bad. And yeah, so we'll put a little foundation into the 1 gap with a different color so that it's kind of clear that this is just, support so we don't fall through. In fact, I am going to get rid of all of the ramps and such around here, and we're going to make this just normal 1x1 foundation now, as far as we have gone. So check from the bottom so I can see all of the power. So from the middle we have power lines stretching across to those guys. Is that powered? I'm not sure that's powered. I'm pretty sure it isn't. Which means I didn't make that last connection. And I can look at it and see that I didn't. There we go. And now this guy is powered. Yes. So this is looking pretty impressive from below. We need to set up 2 more of these guys. Basically mirroring the left-hand side to the right-hand side. I'm going to keep those in there like that, which means we're going to do gray all the way out to where we want to put the new things in, like that. And actually, these guys also get a foundation through the middle. And we get gray out to here. Yeah, see, copying this pattern from one side to the other is really much easier than working it out to begin with. And we need the gray strip up the middle, right here. Like that. So these guys, I'm going to get rid of those foundations so I know where I stand with respect to where my verticals are, and then we're going to go in and go dismantle all the way up to there, and from there all the way down. And you two go away. Now we do need our base in the right spot. Should have put that at default. With that in the right spot, I'm going to get rid of these guys so I can hook my power up properly. You get a drone stand, and you get a drone stand, and they should be touching in the middle. Oh, and you can go away. Little wall outlets floating in the middle of the place. And you guys get drone stands, so that brings you back up to the delivery level. It goes quicker when I've got it worked out, doesn't it? All this because I want to have the pillars in place so I can run my power properly all at once. Okay, so his power is running up the middle. He doesn't have power yet, but the power lines are set. So bring you down to there. And you're going to come in from there. Just going to bring you right across. So now we should have power appearing on all of the passive stations on their four nubs at the bottom. This is actually easiest to relay out if I just do that and just go zoop. Oh, we want these to be open because I need to put the power in. You get zooped out. I will trim the ends. So there's our 2 wide, there's our 2 wide, 2 wide, and 2 wide. Power floor. Make sure that corner is in place and it's not clipping into anything. Same thing here. Make sure that we are lined up. And now we go back down below our big plate. And you get power. And you get power. Everybody gets power. There we go. And now we trim off the excess here. Here's our manufacturing floor all set up. And our output stations. We don't have our input stations yet. So there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need 2 more. So just putting them on the points out here is not going to work. I need 1 dead center there, 1 dead center there. I'm thinking 1 dead center there and 1 dead center there, and then we will clip it onto the sides. Okay, let's start with these guys. I like the idea of putting it on that guy. Let's see what that looks like. So that's the south station. Coming off of the south, I have 3 inputs that are obvious. Okay. There'll be circuit boards, aluminum casing, heat sink, and then we go around to the west side. This guy and this guy share rubber. This guy has quartz crystal. 1, 2, 3. Well, let's put the other ones over at the top. Now, these are all active drone stations, which means they're going to be passing fuel around. And I did not include fuel in my listing of stuff that I am importing. So when we get these 12 stations out, we need 3 more, possibly more than 3. What I think I'm going to do is just put a whole bunch of stations out here, and we will then work with what they look like when we get them actually connected up and running. I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, the next station over, where would that go? So instead of putting it there, I'm going to sneak it back this way. If I put 1 here and 1 here, so I'm thinking it's 4 on this side and 4 on that side. So that would mean a total of 14 stations, and we can assign stations as they become appropriate. So I want to have 2 on this side that join each other. So base to there and there. And because I'm using blueprints for all of this, if it turns out I have stations in the wrong place or there's a better layout, we can always just pull up the drone stands. So, starting from the north. I'm not going to put the diagram back up on the recording because it takes up half the screen. But top dead center, we have plastic that feeds both of them. So this is going to be our plastic station. Let's put some signs on these guys so I can tell what I'm doing. Hey, I got it right. How come it's not letting me select the icon? Actually, let's just use a smaller one. I only need to just, put out what it is that I'm going to be putting here. So plastic, select icon. There we go. So that guy's going to be plastic for these two. Over to the right, so this is going to be smart plating down here. This is reinforced iron plate. So this guy also needs rotors. And the rotors are shared with this guy. So I'm thinking in here somewhere. So this is the center line of the guy on the right, and it's the diagonal line of the guy on the left. So that's a good place for a drone stand. Interesting. And I am... Oh, this guy was off by one. Okay, so that's okay. We will just dismantle these. Now, if there were a drone stand to the left of him, it still wouldn't meet up with that guy. We don't have anything we would use that guy for, though. So we've got the same clearance for him that we have for these guys. I'm not sure visually if that's the proper look or not, but we'll see. We'll make this tentative. You are going to be rotors. So if you're rotors, this is the east side, so this is rigger motors are going to be making here, and he also needs stator input. Okay. We're going to go around to the back now, and I'm going to start from the south. Square sign 2 meter. I am going to put you down here. Why am I not getting power? Oh, right. I haven't hooked up the power to any of these passive guys yet. Right. Active guys. Still, we've got enough power coming up from the middle. So you are south. Your circuit boards here. Okay, and you are going to be aluminum casings. So the reason why I'm not putting down the drone ports and getting them all hooked up is because I don't know yet if this is going to work out with the way I'm putting these drone ports out. So circuit boards, and I put the aluminum casing in the wrong spot. No, I didn't. Let's get myself oriented. I am facing north. I am at the south end circuit board. Casings on the right, heat sinks on casing on the left, heat sinks on the right. So Circuit boards and aluminum casings go down to the radio control systems, which will share rubber with the guy on the left. Guy on the right has heat sinks, and he will need nitrogen gas, which he does not share. So going around here, we've got nitrogen gas for this guy, and then we've got stators for that guy. Well, if I want to keep it symmetric, I might put the nitrogen gas here and the stators out there. Now we're actually bringing in packaged nitrogen gas, which means that inside this cell we'd have the blender for the cooling device, and we have an unpackager to unpackage the nitrogen gas, and then we have to route the containers either back to the other side or into a sink. And I really want to make sure that I sink it if it is backlogged. So we will. So even if we assume that we can send our empties back, we still need to sync on this end if we manage to fill it up and don't get to load things. Come on, select icon, packaged nitrogen. And then out on the end here, we're not going to be doing the 2, we're going to be just doing the 1 for now. This is stators. So I've got rotors and stators coming into this guy. This is the rigger motor. And its other input is crystal oscillators, which it receives from way over there. Oh, I really am out of range here. Does this plate have power? This plate might not have power. I didn't run power out to this plate. Okay, so pick up one of you guys. Whoops. Just like that. So now you have power. Yay! So there's our stators. Packaged nitrogen gas. I'm going to do the rounds here real quick. Heat sinks, circuit boards, aluminum casing. So the next one over here is rubber, which is shared between these two. And we were putting these on that location. Actually, let's put this little the square sign, let's put this on a hot button. Did I forget to put power to this guy? I believe I did. Let's check these both. He's hooked up, he's not. Now, I can remember going down below and looking at this from below, but I didn't do a really good job of checking for power. So this is our rubber. So to get the sign to lay down, you hit Control. Now, that's rubber. That means this guy is crystal oscillators, and his only other input is the quartz crystal. I believe both these guys go away. There. So let's come down from the top and see how this lays out. So plastic, obviously this is going to be quick wire. And is this guy powered? Was I just too high? He's powered. So I go down to this corner where we're good and powered. So we just need to finish up here so we can get this guy powered up. This is quick wire. So quartz crystal needs to go in here. I'm going to toss it in right on this edge, this corner here. Now, one of my inclinations was simply to put in all of the drone ports that we could support and then assign them and leave the other ones just as blank, just to kind of have a pattern. But yeah, I don't like that. I want to see if I can get a pattern going here that is more in tune with what we're actually doing. So we are on the west side. This is the quartz crystal. So this guy, crystal oscillators, which use rubber and quartz crystal, and they're going to grab AI limiters from there. I believe they send them out that way. So there's some connections, but this is the only true drone ports it needs. So we're going to go back to the north, and I'm going to go around again and check to make sure we have all of the drone ports for all the materials. We've got plastic. We've got reinforced iron plate. We've got rotors, we've got stators, we've got packaged nitrogen gas, we've got heat sinks, circuit boards, aluminum casing. This is turning into a really nice little factory. I've been thinking this was temporary. I'm thinking the structure is going to be permanent, but what factories we place in here might not be. So in the long run, we may want to put a lot more of the input drone ports in place. Rubber, quartz crystal, and quick wire, and that's our full round. So this is a nice pattern. We've got 3 to the north, 3 to the south, 3 to the east, and that kind of a formation there. And to the west, we got that one. Well, it's kind of obvious the one more port we need here is the fuel. So packaged turbo fuel. This is our drone fuel. Let's get our floors put back together here. Now, I could line up all 3 on this side. In fact, yes, I am inclined to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, go to build mode blueprint. I'm going to clip in the other two, and then we're going to remove the ones I'm moving out. And then I'm going to move the labels last. Take from inventory for depot. Good. For a moment there, I was wondering if I was dragging everything out of the depot and dropping it into my inventory when I picked them up. Okay, so configure you for rubber. Okay. See, now if I'd set up a bunch of drone ports, this would be a lot harder. Now, he did not copy paste, so we're going to settings copied. There. So don't delete the old one until you've made sure the new one's properly set up. Control C to copy. So hopefully this will go together properly the first time. There it did. And rotors. Thirsty work. There we go. There are our 12 active ports. Well, our plates for 12 active ports and our plates for 6 passive ports. Let's run some foundations around underneath these guys. So we're going to have a 3 border around the outside. At least for now. So if I continue to use it and reuse this location, which I think I might do, I can always tune up what it looks like and how well it's buttoned up and all of that. Put an outside shell on the building so it looks nice from afar. So think of this building maybe as the equivalent of a compounding pharmacy. So when we figure out that we need a bunch of things, we can come here to build them. Okay, so we now have foundation out to underneath these input guys. We have our 6 guys up here. Okay. Now, before I start doing any real hookup, let's look at the bottom. You know what? I'm going to make this concrete. So we do have 2 foundations in our factory colors for working with the belts, and the gray is just extra stuff to keep us from falling through. Do. So let's look at it from above again. Continue onward with more concrete foundation. I want 2 wide, not 3. And let's get rid of those. I don't need these guys poking into the middle. So we have the 5x5 build area. We've got a 2 wide factory color ring around each one. And then outside that, we have our inputs and outputs, easily routable. Okay, let's get the power going. I am disinclined to rip up foundations to do this. So what I'm going to do instead is start from here. I'm going to pull it down underneath to there. Just like that. Got to pull this to the middle here. Then from here, we just need to pull from in here somewhere. That's those. Let's start from the middle on this one. What I need, not a power line, I need a wall outlet. Then we are headed, hold on. That's right, these are different. I'm going to take from here and go down. I could actually just take you right from corner. Yeah, these guys, I'll just hook them up. Don't really need a fully redundant grid on them. And if I want to set that up, I can set that up off camera. Some of the stuff I talk about doing off camera, I will do, and some of it I won't. You never know, because none of it is necessary. And none of it's really very visible. And the stuff I don't do off camera later on, I will swear at myself for not having done because it really would have been useful. I do think I'm getting to the point where I just want to hook this up and have it work. So yeah, these recordings are already way long. Okay, and you. I'm going to zoop you from that corner, so start from here. And this guy to there. So I believe that's all of them hooked up. So if I fly over the tops, I should always have nice close power, except when I'm going over the parts in between. Whee! And actually, we can double check this as I put the next part into play. So when I get around to my drone fuel, I will start building the active drones and running the fuel. Plastic, quick wire, quartz, active fuel. Transport, drone port. I'm going to put drone port on 6. And you are an active drone port. So I'm going to put drones on 5. I'm just going to put you right down like that. And this drone port gets seated with fuel. Let's see. Package turbo fuel. I am going to grab, say, 2 packages of that. I'm going to put 1 package in here, and I'm going to put, well, actually, seeding all of these is going to require more fuel than I will be having available in my more fuel than I'll have available in the depot. This is the center point, which means I want to run the drone fuel outside the center points. Okay? And I want him to fuel himself, so we're going to take this and take it down, and I'm going to pass the fuel around counterclockwise. So I'm going to start with here and here, and we'll see how this works. You're also going to need power. And let's see, the power needs to come in. I keep doing this. It's going to be on this edge of a center hole. And on this guy, it is center. So here. So you're coming out here. You're coming in there. I want this guy to go to a merger. What all do we need? Oh, we've got too many things here. So what am I going to sacrifice? So I need power, I need belts, I need holes, I need lifters, I need mergers. So the drone ports, the drone stuff I'm going to put on the right. Organization, logistics. Conveyor merger is on 5. Mergers and splitters we'll need, and I can get the splitter by going to the merger. Actually, let's do that just to make it easy. And then we'll go. Where'd my drones? Railway. There it is. 7, 8. There. So merger, left to right. The belts are going to clip halfway into the foundation. I am okay with that. So if there's anything coming in from the left, we will merge with it and we'll come out that way. I wish I could do a smart merger, a priority merge, but that doesn't matter. If this belt is completely full, it doesn't matter whether I cycle it or add new. Obviously, if we add new, we'd only add new if there's space on the bus. We may not want to loop it. Yeah. So let's send you off to go start fetching fuel, because we're going to need a ton of fuel here. Drone fuel. Which drone fuel is not being used? All ports. So south, west, east, south. Let's go to drone fuel north. So when we get fuel, it's going to go to this guy first. It's going to split some up and send some on. Yay! Next port. So we're just going to go around and do all 12 of them like this. Oh, we need to give him a name. He is drone fuel for 6. I'll just call him Big 6. Rubber for Big 6. Here's his power. There's his drone. We actually reload turbo fuel very fast. So I will go ahead and seed these drones with fuel. So you're going to get 100 fuel to start with. You need to get fuel from below. And your output is going to come out here and down to these two guys. So you are a output here. And I am not going to work on what's going on the next floor down yet. We're going to get everybody set up like this. So we're going to have to do something fancy to get this belt over there. How do I want to do this? If I start from here, and zoop that way. Are we good to go here? Oh, I haven't programmed you up yet. This port, rubber supply. So you need to bring this around to there. if I bring it around in the grand square, it would be here. And that brings it along the edge. I think what I want to do is offset this so that I have one foundation centered on this point. And we're going to zoom from there out these two ways. There. And just to make this consistent, I'm going to run this foundation ring all the way around because this is where our fuel is going to be residing. And this is set up so I can make this nice turn here and be properly aligned for these guys. And I can actually set this up all at once. Because everybody was going to be laid out the same way. Their outputs are going to be going toward the middle. Gosh, I'm kind of guessing at this one. That looks about right. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I think instead of setting up each station individually, what I'm going to do is lay this out, go put all the drone stations in, go punch all the holes, go set up all the lifts, and go set up all of the splitters and mergers. There. So we now have this ring of foundations where we can put our packaged fuel. That also becomes suggestive about where we might put more these stations. So, drone port on the cursor. Let's just plop them down. And while I'm at it, I can also, with the drone port on my cursor, go up to the delivery stations and put my passive ports down there as well. They won't need fuel, yay. Oops. Okay, and output ports. These are being fed from outside, so if I put the ports facing the middle, that'll be easier to work with. And it does fit. So facing north, here's our 6 output ports and our 12 input ports and our big build area. Okay, so lots of airy space in here. It's kind of a pyramid-shaped structure. Ooh, oh, we could make this the Great Pyramid. Ooh. So we have started receiving rubber. But our next step is to go punch the holes for the fuel and the outputs. So you get a hole and you get a hole. So the fuel is going to be lifts coming up, and the output's going to be lifts going down. So I'll do those in 2 separate passes. Oh, you don't have a hole. Okay. Fuel is my high priority. So let's get the fuel done. I'm going to defer the rest of the output work until after we get the fuel moving. So I don't know what happens if I make this a complete circular belt and it completely fills up and I have input available. I guess if it's completely full and packed and saturated, nothing moves, and then somebody grabs one, and then a bubble goes backwards along the belt, essentially. And then we either recycle. Now, if we run the ring, that means that bubble goes around again. Either the ring starts moving, or eventually we fill in the hole with a piece of fuel, so that should be okay. On the other side, if the ring is basically empty and we get a little bit of fuel, so if we're running low on fuel, it means everybody gets a shot at picking up that fuel. Now, the further around the ring you go, the higher the probability that somebody else will have grabbed it. But, you know, that's why we pay our taxes. Okay, so now I need to come in here and have these guys all pick up from here. Now is a good time to trim those guys off. Oh, I also need to apply power to the drone ports. So we have made a full trip around. This trip will be powering the ports and putting splitters on these guys. Oh, powering the ports is going to be interesting. Okay. As long as you can see anything on the port from below, you can grab its power. So this works. That's turned wrong. I hope I didn't leave any others turned wrong. Haha, 2 hours. Okay. A fix-it protein bar. Well. I'll wait for my wife to get home. She said she was going to be bringing food. Okay, you've got power and your splitters and such are there. So now it is time, I guess, to run the belts. Just going to run these as far as I can. I'm not going to try to make the belt boundaries be on interesting multiples of 5 or anything. I'm just going to run it around. So green is my you are clipping this through, but it's okay to place it color. Normally that's yellow, but you know, green is good. I think it was Total Eclipse that I saw using this, and I thought, hey, that's a cool idea. Yoink. I am just going to connect this all the way around. I think I've convinced myself that closing the loop is a good thing. There. So you notice that we have a lot of fuel on the belt, and it's going to get a little bit through, and that amount on the belt is going to increase as these guys fill up their allotment. So now I want to make sure that everybody has a drone. Now it's tempting to run some power out along this border, but I think I'm good. Okay, so we have filled up everybody's fuel ports, and we have filled up the fuel line. Hold on, he has a drone. Could I add another drone? I shouldn't be able to. I wonder what happens if you add a drone on a drone port that already owns a drone. Hold on. Let me Google that real quick. Satisfactory drone port, multiple drones. So no more additional drones can be built into a drone port, but multiple drones can serve it as their destination port. Okay. Oh, that's the fandom wiki, which may be out of date. Looking for something reasonably recent. So on wiki.gg, I'm going to look at drone and drone port. Each drone could be assigned to one drone port, and that drone port can only be linked to one other drone port. Okay. When hosting a drone, okay, so they have updated the wiki for what fuels they use. So if you could have multiple drones homed at the same port, that would be here unless nobody's tried it. I'm going to try it. So for all I know, that's going to end up with this drone. And if the other drone is now homeless, it may end up taking up a slot on that drone port and never moving again. And indeed, that might be what's happening because that drone is not moving. Let's see if we get a drone coming back to us. He is, oh, the other drone is coming back to us. I think I've got two drones that have the same home port. That is a significant animation at the destination. So is the other one going to come back to us? What happens when it fills up? So you're not going to be able to unload your entire load. Unless you came back with a partial load. But if you can have multiple drones with the same home port, oh, that does interesting things to your throughput, doesn't it? But it still says the drone status. So I think we only have one drone that's actually working here. The other drone's coming back. What happens when there's somebody else docked at your home port? Well, you should just be cycling above it. Well, isn't that interesting? So each drone port is linked to a single remote location. So your drone that you own can go there and take stuff to there and bring stuff back. And here we have a situation where I have two drones with the same home port. And of course, for drone fuel, there's no way I'm using up all the drone fuel. But let's leave that in place. I'm going to keep an eye on that guy. As these guys start to do their work, I'm going to see what happens with my fuel. If there's any code in Satisfactory that assumes only one drone, we could be in trouble. Okay, so this is aluminum casings. That's not good. So, short interruption here while I figure out why there is no drone port called aluminum casings. Oh, drone port. I didn't name my drone ports. I need to go back down to the aluminum station and rename the ports. I'm going to pause the recording while I do this. I'm just going to go set the names on those ports. Okay, I wasn't going to record any of this, but coming into the new aluminum station, this is really, I like the look of this. I was a little afraid that I was going to be blocking the view of the waterfall, but yeah, we can see the waterfall through it and everything. So we just need to check the names of all the stations here. I'm going to start from the back. And all of our drones are home trying to unload, and of course we are stalled because nobody is consuming anything. This is rubber for aluminum. So I think I got my input stations named: concrete, copper ingots. It's probably just my output stations that weren't set up. Aluminum ingot supply east and aluminum ingot supply west, I think, are named. I'll do the western stations first here. There we go. Aluminum casing. That's the one that was missing. And this one also is not set. I'm dating it after the actual part rather than after the recipe. So if we search for steel beams, we won't have to remember, oh yeah, we need to search for aluminum beams too. There we go. That's all set, and I would just need to get back to the other base. So we are still quite far from the new area, and you can already see it poking through the mist out there. I like it. Oh, nice reveal. I think I need to have more stuff underneath. So pillars from the build areas or something. I am going to end up with these little power lines all over the world. Anytime I want to go somewhere, if there's no power lines in the direct line, I'm always just laying out new ones. And someday I'm going to start deleting them, and I'm going to delete the one power line which is gating all of the power from where it's generated to where I'm actually using it. I hadn't noticed that my footing of my main pillar is not set properly. Well, let's give you a proper vertical. There. Yeah, I think I want to bring these 6 big pillars down. I want to do something more impressive than just zooping down to concrete eventually. So where was I? I was here. Aluminum, yes, aluminum casings. Aluminum casing supply. And you are circuit board supply. you are heat sinks. And you are nitrogen gas, packaged nitrogen gas. That's stators. And rotors. Reinforced iron plates. Plastic. Quick wire. Quartz crystal. And back to fuel. So let's see. Drone status cannot unload, right? We're full. 3.44 stacks per minute, 21 per trip. We do not burn fuel while hovering over our destination. That's good. I'm assuming you shift to some sort of powered mode where you're picking up electricity from here. We'll just deal with the fact that you don't use fuel to do this. Okay, let's continue onward around. Next step is to arrange our downward conveyors. So I'm just going to put in the lifts for now. We'll do the belts the second time around. Oh, and I was ending up lifting these. So let's make sure they are. And that one got lifted too. Yeah, we want them to be at level. And did I get them pointing the right direction? Yes. And I think I'm going to get as far as having all of my inputs lifted down to the bottom level. And I'm going to color coding there because this is going on fairly long. And I have some prior commitments today that I need to deal with. Okay. And he's put it the wrong way. Uh-huh. So there is a special case I want to handle. The drone port that brings us our nitrogen gas needs to be able to carry back empties. And I want to associate a sink with him, so if somebody sends us up empties to take back, and we don't have space in the drone port for them, we'll sink them. So nitrogen is, you find it on my diagram, kind of southeast. So I could either put the sink on the bottom. Oh, let's put the sink down below. In fact, no, I'm going to work out the. Oh, that's not nitrogen anyway. I'm going to work out where to put the sink. I am glad I labeled these. Where the hell did nitrogen go? There it is. No. Over here. I will work out the handling of the empties down below. I think the best thing I can do here for generality is drop this in and have it just do that. Wait a minute. I was wrong. What if I do this and we put a smart splitter on here and I say, you, more to the point, empty fluid tanks go that way and overflow goes to the left. So if we send up anything but an empty fuel tank, it's going to go to that overflow. And now I'm going to just tuck a awesome sink in here. And you just need to come down and go to a fuel, or excuse me, a power area. That's good. Okay, so the sink has power. So if we try to send back anything other than an empty, or if we try to send back an empty and it doesn't work, except you need to be empty nitrogen. There. So everybody should be off getting their stuff. So let's hook up power to these guys. We're not going to give them names until we've confirmed what they're actually going to be sending out. And I am going to arbitrarily just use the center hole here. Whoops. Yeah, we're going to be taking from out here. So we have a challenge for these guys in that this is a very long traversal. So I want to bring this down. And you notice it's doing that. There's a trick we can pull. I am going to bring this all the way around. So I'm going to pull the trick all at once on everybody. I may even leave this, I don't know. It might be convenient to have this higher level just set up here for the future. So now, this is where my thingy comes down, I think. No, I think it comes down over here. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. As this confirms that it's in, I will hook these guys up above first so we're sure that we have this pointed the right direction. So the thing is, if you're going between two conveyor holes, you can go as far as you want. And apparently somebody has tried this out and they've gone from the lowest possible place on the map to the highest possible place on the map. The trick is, of course, making sure that you have holes set up to get from A to B. Okay, so all the belts and lifters are set up above the deck. So now when I go below the deck, I can set these guys up and I'll be confident that they are in the right location. So you come down to here and it stops, but if I touch that, it does that. Let's put the rest of the holes in. Since I'm now confident about my hole location. Okay. And now the lifters. Clip it in at the top so I know it's going in the right direction. And then at the bottom, and now I can unwind this. I've got it filtered to just the 1 meter foundation. That way I don't delete my lifters or my floor holes by mistake. I just need to make sure I don't delete anything on the area below me. There. So we have our outputs. We have our lifters going up to the outputs. We have all of our inputs flowing. So let's start from the north here. We've got double checking. We've got plastic, which goes to 2. We've got reinforced iron plates. We've got rotors that goes to 2 of them. We've got stators. We've got nitrogen gas, which is going to have to be unpackaged, and we're going to have to lift the empties back up. We've got heat sinks and circuit boards and aluminum casings and rubber, which goes to 2, and fuel, which goes to everybody, and quartz crystal. And back around here, we're back up to the quick wire, and plastic is where we started. So I think this is a good stopping point. So the next step is to put in the 4 manufacturers and 1 blender and 1 assembler and a unpackager. Because frankly, I'm kind of hungry. I want to stop for lunch. Boop. I'm just going to park it right there. I will see you in the next recording.